Okay, cool. So we're in Shift, bottom of page 72 under Ramp It Up. Here's what Gary Keller has to say. The conversation is on lead generation, finding the motivated, and Gary gives us a 3-step process to follow in lead generating, find the motivated, and step number 3 is ramp it up. An inconsistent approach can get you leads, and it won't give you anywhere near the number of leads you'll need when the market shifts. You're going to need a lot of leads, and that means you're going to have to do a lot of lead generating. Aaron, I'll talk to you about that in a minute. You're going to need a lot of leads, and that means you're going to have to do a lot of lead generating. So you've heard me say it many times. I'll say it again. Words matter. Pay attention. You're going to need a lot of leads. Why are you going to need a lot of leads? Well, the reason is because the number of motivated buyers and sellers is less. It's significantly less in a shifted market. Gary shares that motivation, that one word, is the cause and challenge of a shift. So the cause, there are fewer buyers and sellers who are motivated to buy and sell today than there were 6 months ago, and that causes a shift. Where buyers and sellers were motivated 6 months ago by a need to buy or a need to sell, as in we need a bigger house or we're moving, job transfer, whatever the reason is, that's part of their motivation. They also had the motivation of a positive return. In other words, if I sell my house, I'm going to make a lot of profit. Super excited. I'm motivated. I want to hurry up and buy when interest rates are low and values are going up because I want to get in on this market while the values are going up and the interest rates are low. So I have the motivation of I need to buy a new home and the motivation of a positive return. Today, you've got a motivation of I need to sell or I need to buy, and that's it. The motivation of a positive return may not exist anymore. Therefore, there are fewer motivated buyers and sellers. Now, I'm not saying there's not any. Remember, in 2006, 2005, there were 6.4 million homes sold in the US. And by 2007, that number had dropped to 5.2 million. And the real estate world was freaking out because sales were dropping, right? And still yet there were 5.2 million homes sold, which meant there's plenty of business for you to get your unfair share. However, there's fewer motivated buyers and sellers, so you're going to need more leads in order to be able to find the motivated. All right. You must do lead generation every day. You must do it several hours every day. He didn't say that I recommend you. Sorry, guys, my glasses are all foggy today and I can't see. He didn't say that I suggest you lead generate for several hours a day. He didn't suggest that you lead generate for a couple hours a day. He said you must, and he said several. So you must lead generate several hours a day. Now, in reading this, he does get into more detail on this, and the actual time frame that he recommends is 3 hours in the morning. He actually blocks the time and says from 9 to 12, you need to be in lead generation, or from 8 to 11, actually. And that doesn't work if you're listening to me right now because you're here. Okay? However, 3 hours in the morning and then another hour in the evening. It's 4 hours a day. Now, are you lead generating 4 hours a day right now? Hold on a second, guys. Somebody's telling me no volume. Can you hear me?
Clearly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Got it. I just want to make sure I'm not talking and you guys don't hear a word I'm saying. I'm not really sure what that meant. Okay. I'm going to keep going. So are you lead generating 4 hours a day? And if you're not, no judgment, just there's a challenge. Ramp it up. You must do it every day for the rest of your career. To do this, you must subscribe to one simple belief: dealing with business never takes precedence over finding business. You must adopt the position that until your lead generation is done, everything else is a distraction. All right, let's talk about those two things. Dealing with business never takes precedence over finding new business. And until lead generation is done, everything else is a distraction. Gary actually shares that he put a sign by his desk where he was in lead generation that told him that until lead generation was done, everything else is a distraction. Are you getting distracted during lead generation? If the answer is yes, what's distracting you? And what can you do in order to remove those distractions? Is email open on your computer as you're lead generating? Are you getting notifications that you got new emails? Are you tempted to go look at those? Is your social media sites open? Are you getting notifications that somebody just made a comment on your post? Are you stopping to go read those comments? Is your phone sitting by your desk as you're making calls? And maybe you're actually using this phone to make calls and you're getting notifications. There's a text message right there. And I'm tempted to stop talking to you in order to look at that text message. It's saying, John, look at me. I really want to know, what is this text message? And if you're anything like me, and I think you are, the same thing is happening to you. You're getting notifications that you just got a Facebook message. You got a whatever all those other sites are. And those are all distractions. What would you do different if you had to hit your lead generation goals for the day? What would you do different if your lead generation goals were not goals, but they were standards? If I hired you and I said, okay, Nick, I've got this job I want you to do. It pays $200,000 a year, by the way. And there's certain metrics you have to hit in order to keep your job, okay? And one of those metrics is you have to lead generate 4 hours a day. And I want you talking to 40 people every day, right? As long as you continue to hit those metrics, you get to keep your job. Matter of fact, as time goes on, we're going to have an opportunity for you to turn that 200,000 into 300,000, 400,000, eventually $1 million. And then $2 million. And Nick, there's no ceiling on this. All you have to do is 4 hours of lead generation a day, talk to 40 people, and you have this job that starts at 200,000 with no ceiling. It can go as high as it can go based on your production. Now, if I asked you who's interested in that job, if I put that out on WiseHire, Indeed, or any of those other sites, would I get resumes? Yes, I would. 100% I would. I'd get a lot of resumes. And yet that's the opportunity that every single one of you have. Me too. Right? Now, are we working as if we have that job with that opportunity? And if the answer is no, then the next question is, why not? Now, why not might be because you've got limiting beliefs that this isn't real. Or it might be a lack of confidence because you don't know what to do, you don't know what to say, or you think you don't know what to do, or you think you don't know what to say. You know, I listen to Shift every day, and James Shaw shared today that your job is to get to the listing table. Matter of fact, he said, doesn't matter how good your listing presentation is, just get to the table and you'll get the listing. So he's telling you it doesn't matter if you've mastered your listing presentation, just get to the table. I'm going to tell you, I still think you need to master your listing presentation. And I'm going to say he's right here. Get to the table. All right. Now, I really want to hear what you have to say today. Less of me, more of you. So we've got 15 minutes before I pivot to practicing role-playing scripts. And this is either going to be a mastermind conversation, you're going to ask questions, and we're going to talk, or this is going to be a very short Survive to Thrive call today, because that's all the material that I prepared for you today.
Okay, I have something to say.
There we go.
So on paper, that sounds wonderful, but in reality, when you want to make an offer on a property and things are pending, you have to take care of business first. And it's really hard to lead gen when you're really busy.
Love that. Okay, so Vivian, can you take some notes, please?
Yes.
I can't tell if you're driving down the road. I don't see your camera,
No.
so that's why I
No,
asked.
I just look crazy. That's all.
Seriously, on your worst day, you look better than I do on my best day. So stop that. Shut up, Aaron.
What did he say?
He said every day.
Okay.
All right, you've got 5 things that make up your 20%. And those 5 things are lead generation, going on appointments with buyers and sellers. So that includes buyer consultations, listing appointments. It includes previewing for sell by owners, going on expired previews, any buyer or seller appointment. Okay. Taking seller listings is number 3. Number 4, writing offers and negotiating contracts, which I believe, Vivian, was one of the things you gave me as this is something that takes time. And I agree, it does. And then number 5 is practicing and role-playing your scripts. Now, my question would be to all of you, not Vivian, because I don't want to put her on the spot. 24 hours in a day, right? Last time I checked, there's still 24 hours in a day.
Yes.
Okay. Making sure that we didn't change that. I mean, everything else is changing. Maybe that changed too. Hashtag sarcasm. And my workday starts pretty early in the day. Doesn't matter, who cares? What time does your workday start? You should know that. Write it down. If I asked you, show me your calendar, do you have time blocked in your calendar for your big rocks? And I just told you what your big rocks are in business. Now there's other things in your life that are important to you. Your time that you've blocked to read, to pray, to meditate, to exercise. Those are all big rocks as well. Time that you've blocked to spend with your family. Those are big rocks as well. Do you have time blocked for those things? Now, if I said out of 24 hours, how much time do you have a day committed to work? Okay. Now let's just say an average work day is 10 hours and maybe it's 8, maybe it's 6. By the way, I'm not a believer in part-time, full-time. I think that has absolutely nothing to do with your success. Success is not the result of how many hours you work. Success is the result of how much focus and energy you put into those hours. So how many hours a day do you have blocked for work? Now, Vivian, if you have 10 hours blocked a day for work and you block 4 hours a day, that leaves 6 hours to do everything else. Is that enough time to show a property, write an offer, negotiate a contract? Do you have time for those other things?
Yes.
Okay. Now, my suggestion to you would be if you've blocked, let's say 10 to 1 for lead generation, and somebody wants to write an offer, you get a text message during this call and says, okay, I'm ready to write an offer. Can I meet with you at 11 a.m.? Right? And you need to get that offer in because you want to get that property before somebody else does. Right?
Right.
And you say, absolutely, let's get together at 11 a.m. We'll write the offer. So you were erasing lead generation. The rule is if you erase, you must replace. So the moment you erase that, you find the next available time in your calendar immediately to put that time back into your calendar. Now, if somebody called you and says, I want to list my home with you, or I want to, can you list my house? I'm available to meet with you at 11 a.m. I'm completely fine with you saying, I'm looking at my calendar and I'm actually booked until noon. I can meet with you at 1 or 2, or I can meet with you later this afternoon at 5. What would work better for you? Now, ideally, that's what you're going to do because your lead generation time is more important than that listing appointment. Gary says, you must subscribe to one simple belief: dealing with business never takes precedence over finding business. Now, the exception to that would be, I want to write an offer right now, and you're going to lose that property if you don't write an offer right now. Then by all means, erase and replace. Megan, talk to me.
I'll just add to that, that there is, and I had to really train myself in the very beginning, that there's no such thing as a real estate emergency. And if the house is on fire, call 911 because I'm not the fire department. And so that took me a little while to learn. And then once I learned it and really like took the bold law to heart, like you teach people how to treat you, then that just goes, with your calendar. I'm sorry, I'm not available at this time, and I would love to meet you at this time. And if they're not respectful of your calendar and your time, then you probably don't want to do business with them anyway.
Nice job, Megan. I agree, 1000%. So what Megan just shared reminded me of Stephen Covey's 4 quadrants. And quadrant 1, we have urgent and important. Quadrant 2, we have not urgent and important. Quadrant 3, we have urgent and not important. In quadrant 4, we have not urgent and not important. And most people, if I ask, where do you think you should be spending most of your time? Most people would say here, urgent and important. And that's the wrong answer. It's here, not urgent and important. Lead generation is a great example of that. And I want to write an offer right now, and I don't want to wait because I'm afraid I'm going to lose this property if I wait. Urgent and important. 100%. You're going to stop what you're doing. You're going to write the offer. You're going to present the offer. You're going to negotiate the contract, and you're erasing a lead generation in order to do that. So you're going to replace that time somewhere else. If you want to build a more successful business, if you want to live a more successful life, spend more time in quadrant 2. Sitting down on the couch and reading a book with your son or with your daughter is not urgent and important. Okay, it is. So this is true in life, just like it's true in business. Now, if I want to spend more time in quadrant 2 in order to have a more successful business, in order to have a more successful life, there's only 24 hours in a day. So I can't find more time. What I can do, though, is I find more time for quadrant 2 by taking time away from quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. Take time away from quadrant 3, take time away from quadrant 4, and put that time into quadrant 2. That's how you find more time for quadrant 2.
And the way you find more time is using your leverage, like the non-important, non-urgent things like grocery shopping. Do you have to go grocery shopping, or can you pay Instacart to go grocery shopping for you?
Oh, I agree 1,000%. I'm a big believer, and there's very few things that can't be leveraged, right? Good job, Megan. Vicki, talk to us.
What I took I mean, there's so much always that I take from what you say, but today I raise my own bar, because we have to know our own worth, and we have to continue raising our bar, because if we don't, we're never going to know our own potential. And so we've got to get out of that comfort zone. And if we want to get anywhere, we have to get out of being comfortable.
There you go, girl.
And so have those, instead of like the few conversations, we have to, like you said, have 40 conversations.
Have to.
And if you do lead generation for an hour, do it for 3 hours. We have to push ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it going to be easy?
No, it's not. But if you want to get somewhere, nothing comes easy. Hard work pays off.
There you go. Yeah. Mediocre is easy, right? Mediocre, as Zig Ziglar would put it, is just be a wandering generality. Just go with the flow and you'll end up at mediocre. Mastery cost a lot, and it can be painful. It could be boring. It could be monotonous. It could be redundant. Who do you know that's thinking of buying or selling their home? Who do you know that's thinking of buying or selling a home? Who do you know that's thinking of buying or selling a home? Who do you know that's thinking of buying or selling? Oh my gosh, if I say that one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. Who do you know that's looking to buy or sell a home? Nick's laughing because Nick is that person. You know, I sit in my office and I listen to him, and I have to close the door because like if I hear Nick one more time ask who do you know is looking to buy or sell a home, I think I'm going to lose my mind. Good for you, Nick. I'm proud of you.
Oh, it's tough.
Oh my gosh, it's painful. Yeah, but that's where the money is. You know, think of the people who were prospecting gold hundreds of years ago, right? And they had this shaker and they would fill it up with rocks and water and they would shake. And they're looking for what? Looking for gold, right? You're making calls. You're looking for gold. Now, when they're shaking that shaker and they're looking for gold, they're finding a lot of what? Rocks. Rocks are the people who you're speaking to that hang up the phone on you. Rocks are the people who I don't know of anybody. I don't think I'm ever going to know of anybody, and go away, you dirty rotten realtor. It's a rock. Now, I don't know because I wasn't there a couple hundred years ago when they're mining for gold, but my best guess is the most successful gold miners didn't stop and look at the rock and say, why are you a rock? Why aren't you gold? I'm angry at you because you're a rock. And they just dumped the shaker and said, okay, no gold, do it again. Can you imagine how boring that was? All day long, looking for one gold nugget. That's your job. All day long, you're looking for one gold nugget. That gold nugget for you is, yeah, I'm thinking about selling my house. Come on over. Gold.
I'll also add that with that, there are so many secret agents out there that, you know, like, and I'll use this as an example. A lot of my social media, I do post about, you know, being a real estate agent and all of that. However, I'm adding new people every day. And there's a friend that was actually off Facebook for a really long time. And then she got back on, and I posted about me capping. And I said, who am I helping next? And she commented me. And so just by my Facebook post about capping, she wants to sell and buy a new build. So, and that's because I'm not a secret agent. So put it out there to everyone.